women especially and the men prioritize. There are only 24 hours in a day.
And that's a very hard thing to do. Getting to, you were doing a lot, having to take care of your kids, managing the billion-dollar empire, and then that's just so hard to do. And Tita Loida just makes it sound so easy for everyone.
No, no, believe me, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I had to prioritize. Children with Mr. Lewis first because he is the head of the family. I saw to it that when he comes home and he bursts into anger, I just keep quiet. And then I just, I tried to be much later on, because at the beginning it was difficult, but much later on, I want to be the oasis for him to come home to and drink water and be refreshed. Because as a black man, he does suffer, insults or patronizing attitude. Like one time, he was in a black tie dinner. He himself was one of the honorees. But when a gentleman, an elderly gentleman who was white, came to the table, he patted Mr. Lewis on the head. So what kind of patronizing attitude is that? As if Mr. Lewis was a young boy. So Mr. Lewis stood up and pat him on the head too. He will not suffer disrespect and indignities like that. So when he comes home, he's fighting dragons. I tell everybody, he's fighting dragons and monsters of racism. When he comes home, there should be no dragon in the house. No, why are you late again? Gentle, cherish him. I did cherish him, and I did I gave him 110%. So for the other women who are watching this, don't say 50-50. That's no good. You have to give 110%. And in fact, I told Mr. Lewis that I'll give you 110%. But if that's not good enough, you are free to walk out the door. I can take care of myself and the children.
And he could not get out of the door because you're the oasis that he has.
Well, what he said was, I was so smart because if I tied him with a chain, he would break out. But because I gave him the freedom to walk out the door, he stayed.
And that's why we were very impressed when I was talking with Ria earlier. We were impressed on how you actually manage your relationship and how to be a good wife on those situations, especially when you were just starting. So that's very impressive.
Yes.
Well, you have to understand, for all the women who are listening to me, you have to understand who is the man or significant other that you married. Why? Because you fell in love with that person. Therefore, you have to understand him. And for Mr. Lewis, when he was 5 years old, his mother left his father and brought him to Mrs. Fuget's parents, his grandmother and grandfather. So he always had that question, why did mom leave my father? And one of his aunts who knew his mother said, well, he was not ambitious enough. So from a young age, he always knew that he has to be ambitious because he would not want his wife to leave him. Knowing that, there is always that thought in his mind that I would leave him. I had to assure him, I will never leave you. But if that's not good enough, what I'm giving you, you are free to go out the door. So it's my own understanding of who is the man I'm marrying.
Amen. Well said, Tita. And you know what I tell everybody when I tell them about the book? Every man should find a Loida. I think you are an epitome of what a wife should be and how to take care of the husband so the husband can be able to accomplish his fullest potential. And remember, Tita Loida, I mentioned about you to you when we first met that I met the wife of Martin Luther King, and I'm Coretta Scott King, and I also met the wife of Reverend Sun Myung Moon. These women has made their life, their character was able to help their husband to become successful, and that is what I thought about you. You are one of those three women that made it possible for their husband to become so successful. Thanks to you, Tita Loida.
Yeah, Ria, but I want to make the exception. I did that decision, and probably Coretta King and the wife of Reverend Moon. But there are some men and women where it's the woman who is the rocket ship. For me, I considered Mr. Lewis the rocket ship or the star. I hitched my wagon to the star. If I did not meet him, I would never get married. But when I met him, he was better than me in all respects. And so I made a decision. He is the rocket ship. I'll just, be the, be the whatever it is.
The fuel.
Called hitch my wagon to star. So for those where the woman is the CEO, the woman is the star, and the man has enough self confidence to see that that is what his wife is, then it's the man who's make the decision that he will hitch this wagon to the star. That is the husband of Justice. She died already, but Justice Ginsburg, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She never cooked. It was the husband who was a cook. And he understood, although he himself was a lawyer, a partner in a law firm, that his wife is the superstar. So I did that. I'm not asking everyone to do what I did. I did it because that was what was needed in our marriage. So for those who are watching, you make a decision. Or sometimes, I don't know, sometimes the man is the superstar, sometimes the woman, they change place. Each person, each couple has its own dynamics. So you have to understand who is this man or woman that you are marrying. And then we all adjust.
Well said, Tita. And that's why I hope our President Edward Lago can find also